All right, so just want to make a quick video just to discuss the rule of thirds. You may already be aware of what the rule of thirds is. You might not. You might be aware of it without kind of understanding the vocabulary surrounding it. But either way, here we go. The rule of thirds is not really a rule. It's not something that you need to follow. But to say that it's connected with asymmetrical balance doesn't quite capture the whole idea because it does have a little bit to do with visual emphasis also. The idea with the rule of thirds is that essentially, if you split your photograph or the frame of your photograph into thirds, both vertically and horizontally, then you're left with a grid with 9 different quadrants in it. And through creative use of the grid, you can come out the other end with a photograph that's more visually interesting than it would be otherwise. This is a thing that you see in movie making all the time. So I've got 2 great examples here. The first one is by photographer W. Eugene Smith. And so if I go over to crop and then open up the grid, you will see perfect example of how to use the rule of thirds. So there's really 2 different ways. The first way is that you can align areas of interest with the lines of the grid, which, as we can see here, this nun's face perfectly aligns itself with that lefternmost um, vertical line. But also, you could align areas of interest along points where grid lines meet, as we can see in the case of this photograph, where the nun's left eye almost perfectly aligns with where that vertical and horizontal grid line meets. So, as you can see, W. Eugene Smith, a master of composition and of printing, used the rule of thirds in this photograph as a way of kind of dictating visual emphasis, but also using asymmetrical balance to add a lot of tension and drama into this photograph. The next example is from Cindy Sherman, who, again, we know from our previous studies, um, really used the tools and tricks that filmmakers used in order to make her photographs. So again, if we bring up the grid line, we will see Cindy Sherman herself here on the left of this photograph. I'm sorry, on the right of the photograph, aligns herself with this rightmost vertical line in the rule of thirds. So again, this is kind of like an area in which visual balance and visual emphasis work together.